This is Chariot TV.
This is Chariot TV at the force. Oshaya. Chariot TV straight talk di so ana echego na onim say on straight talk so no ye Bible to na ye pense mu na de esua ho ade no the book of Daniel and visions. Daniel homa no ene edi ye nsem. Daniel homa na edi ye nsem. Eno ana yegusu a ye pense mu ye episode 1 episode 2 sa say you're the 27th episode and honor you and you go. So share any of our episodes that just go back. Oko YouTuber, you search Chariot TV, the book of Daniel and visions. Ebeba. You search Chariot TV on YouTube, ebe pop it up, subscribe and share. They like it. Page you know, so send a bear waiting so I'm a open video be able to quickly waiting me search no one and tem or sa page so. And I'll call a Facebook page so why your Chariot TV on Facebook with me are connected with us. Get in touch with us, they get interactive with us. Send a bear. Your call live on so with me are joining us now. Also, with me as soon as sir. With me the Chariot TV home common so chapel for no more so joining in. Now my journey Chariot TV family. No send a bear with me so as soon as there are so many things you see on Chariot TV from Sunday I should say, first day of the week to Monday, Saturday. Monday, Sunday, or first day of the week to the last day of the week, which is Saturday, main cancer. There were so many programs at the Bremo. On Sunday, no, your action time, Obet, Ejakunana, or the Sudanese. You see, the issue one day on action time, no, abortion in three perspectives. Abortion in three perspectives. Do you call charity about abortion? Bepa, and that's about abortion in three perspectives. Beba, action time, do media ED. Abortion. They are looking at abortion from a medical standpoint. They can't abortion send a doctor for sure. That is being discussed on action time. On Monday, Love and Family Corner, Ababu a relationship, family, love, marriage, all those things are it's being discussed on Love and Family Corner. So I'm sure our program will be there, but more than it's Monday 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Sabrina and Love and Family Corner send a bear on to be team yesterday. Now, on Tuesday, point out we have not started point out this year. We are still working on it to be able to get it started. On Wednesday, Bible answers. And he asked the Bible questions. Now, the last episode I was here, they were dealing with some pertinent issue that pertains to Christianity. And it's over modena Oje Kunyana Oshebia Eboboa amount me on Bible answers. On Thursday, apologetic hour. This year and share apologetic hours, so don't worry. But you go there, our previous episode and videos are there on archived on our YouTube channel. On Friday, Jonathan Obeng a test talk. And we are looking at Hebrews chapter 10 at the moment. We are still in Hebrews chapter 10 on test talk. And on Saturday it is a street talk. Media kunya na midi ho chiame na mitutu media ni na idibo modern na subscribe here and hit notification bell so YouTuber send a bell call live with me and now so join here quickly. Na MWA say we soon send the link and sign also so joining in. Now make I also say Charity or WhatsApp platform, not a WhatsApp, a website. So you can just go there, chariotv.com, chariottvgh.com. Ebeba Chariot TV website, ebeba. Now watch it. What's it here? They are all archived on the website, and it's helpful. So be also let me. I refer to it at any time on any day on Chariot TV. So until we check your website and just check it out. And we are working tirelessly another interesting thing about charity Baba out soon. The one change Baba out now so to me and we are still in the book of Daniel and vision, the book of Daniel and vision. The 27th episode, chapter 11, and last week you can cry from chapter 1 you come verse 11. Many Bashadrak and AD Jumedi. Bashadrak, so even can't memoir.
Hey, yo, so I want to say.
Nyame adumu na nso e.
Rather the more papa.
Yɛda Nyankopɔn ase. The book of Daniel no yɛgu kakra and the goal is to na baabi timi ama the content or the message of the book of Daniel no reach nipa sɛ na bɛyɛ wogyina abɔnten no wobusa sɛ Daniel homa no kware na ɛka you have a fair idea about what the book of Daniel is about. But quickly, what can we do sɛ na bɛyɛ we can really appreciate the book of Daniel? Maybe a summary overview of how the book of Daniel really look like. Sɛ na bɛyɛ ebitimi adonsuko particularly chapter 11 and
Yeah, I think so. It is important whoever want to understand some of the things I hear come once number one, on kind book nankasa, the book of Daniel, on kind. Number two, on search about history between Egypt and Assyria in the your friend is saying in the BCs or before Christ, on searching about it, because all these things are here, the book of a basic ansana yaw Jesus. It's where historical factor Egypt ne Syria de beye ebo ni akwa ne nioma hodo ebekoso is what Daniel chapter 11 is talking about. You can also search about Daniel 11 and history or the amount. But you are quick to add, say, we need to say a lot of people say they can, have twisted the book of Daniel to say a lot of things are book no answer. It's fish at the power, but a fish titru omo mpe banku ne tilapia no. Jo warrior ese uyi nkase no na ori na mpa no. My advice is say people should just be sure say they are not taking in all the garbage, because obu obe start kama or can some no kwa the ones so what for baby no or can use over 1,000 years asem ene okon ebekoso. It has nothing to do with that. This is a purely historical thing, a BC before the coming of Jesus. In fact, at the time of Daniel Okano, na wamaye niema bia ebeko koso. What I say, it is all connected and niema ebeko koso no. Now the man now will be jump says how do we I feel na ABC in the future. It makes no sense. Now Joe Mamin can say. Remember, say all these things are here, before the narrative as same way Daniel.
Yeah.
Now, why would Obofo narrate these things to Daniel? Because we're talking about Israel for Mabedin Kwasumu. Back. Now, the entire Omonia Breso Baba back, they say, if you are Asha CSA Israel for no, they see many shows here about watching Kwano. It Daniel reminder almost say Ajenkwano Baba. Not what is going to happen, no, Ajenkwano is going to come. It's near my basic siansan Ajenkwana Bano. And na Obofo no dine di the actual Daniel. These are not things they see who might say I pay na that actually ever. No. They were supposed to happen even before the coming of Christ. It's a kind of me pointing near maybe a trauma who say Israel minor after Daniel Casanos, Israel man will be there. They will still be there. At the end of Shanema Winano, or my Israel will still be there. But the name of my Israel no way. Daniel will talk about how Ombaba for the view, any son and manemano, any way. We're not talking about
Jews,
no, any view.
Yeah.
That you can say the African na newie no, Jews some be gina ho. And sign a chile no, ya be clear free ho. No, so can say that chance more. It makes it difficult to really side with the side of the scriptures. And that is what I will say. You need to read the text. You need to be clear in your mind. Don't be prejudiced. And then try say you link up to historical facts. And some of them, quite interestingly, a lot of commentaries have talked over them. In fact, most commentaries agree on the facts. What must I say? And can say the other course I can want some no. They were not things that happened in El Kukuomu. It happened physically mobiate. As I said, Nejo, you say Donald Trump. I say Donald Trump, I say. Why not? I just want person to even though Ghana for no are not too linked with Donald Trump, no. But fire home, you know. The news. The same thing that give it to me who the book of Daniel. The custom.
Okay, but that's it. We'll come back to the book. Now me kai say we are streaming on we are streaming on YouTube, we are streaming on Facebook. Someone like it, page now more than like it. Some subscribe so more than subscribe. We are on Daniel chapter 11. I mean kai kakra some verses, just a couple of verses upward and down. I mean kai verse 11 no. Na me famra kakra se na bia ebetimi a comment on it na aboa. Verse 11 say, and the king of the south shall be moved with Chloe, and shall come forth and fight him, even with the king of the north, and he shall set forth a great multitude, but the multitude shall be given into his hand. And when he had taken away the multitude, his heart shall be lifted up, and he shall cast down many 10,000s, and he shall be strengthened by it. For the king of the north shall return, and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and with much riches. And in those times there shall stand up against the king of the south, and the robbers of the people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fall. So the king of the south, the king of the north, shall come up and cast up a mountain, and shall take the most fenced city, and the army of the south shall not withstand, neither shall his chosen people, neither shall there be any strength to withstand. But he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will, and none shall stand before him, and he shall stand in the glorious land. By his hand he shall consume. Iti mami nyina have verse 16 no. Na yan comment kakra e wo neme bi. It seems that this guy Neoma Daniel ehuniye no is a struggle between king of the north, king of the south, and kings of. Last time him said you commented about king of the north and king of the south a bit. I want to bring attention to it. Maybe I'll can why king of the north, or who is the king of the north and south, and where are those things coming from? If someone is watching us for the first time, the person will get the full picture of what you're talking about.
Your king of the south, the king of not necessarily king, but I mean or a king. The Egyptian king. Now, sir, king we know he's coming from Papa, your friend, Alexander the Great, into one of the wings, and a king of the south, which is Egypt, and a king of the north, and so you can't Assyria, and as a Syria, Syria is at the top. Egypt is at the down. They are the ones fighting. And the text is telling us, king of the south, not the soldiers, but they are going to fall. The eternal say in BC 217. 217, about 200 years before the coming of Christ, and as the birth of Christ, there was a fight between the Ptolemies and then the Antiochus. Ptolemies, Egypt for and Antiochus, Syria for. In that fight, in fact, history might a lot of fact about it. The how much mapeke from history facts and everything said. Ptolemy, or the 70,000 infantries in the court.
Yeah, so let me bring something to light. Maybe I shall we'll get the picture. So Ptolemies, any Seleucus, any those things are all canon are generals are Alexander the Great. That's the great ruler of the Grecian or the Macedonian Empire. The kingdom and we are at that time was divided. The kingdom was divided for its 4 generals.
Yeah.
The Ptolemy side, the Seleucus, the Cassander side, and Anawoka. When you say Ptolemies and things in the Pantheon says that was the regime of the Grecian Empire, the Macedonian Empire. That is the 3rd kingdom or the 3rd empire that arose after Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, Babylonian Empire. The Nebuchadnezzar coined the Medes and the Persians, and the next one was the Macedonian Empire. And that Macedonian Empire, Alexander the Great knew his kingdom was divided for these 4 rulers.
Yeah, Joe, into young fan say, I mean, maybe probably the way I may call because I'm assuming it will be a routine in Nebiano, or you'll be a routine last week, now with previous ones. But Mamin kind of say, in Daniel chapter 10, in Daniel chapter 10, Daniel was told as to some of the things that Ibesi Ewo Eye Dachi.
Yeah.
Daniel chapter 11, and the text and all country say. In fact, some people even believe say, Joe, Daniel 11 is supposed to be the last chapter, and 12 will come before 11. Because of the way the 12 concludes, it is assumed say 11 not comes after the 12. But that's not the debate we want to go in. A fact in the person in chapter 11. And 11, first 3 chapters, first 3 verses, can't you say, the Medo-Persian Empire, one but okay, first 3 verses
of chapter 11.
Chapter 11, Tidoka,
or say, also I in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him. And now I will show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all. And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia. And a mighty king shall stand up, and he shall rule with great dominion and do
kingdoms no 2.
Yes.
Or say that king shall be and king na ne pen so now no Daniel trust adewe no. Mid 4 kings and the so. No, says that there are going to be 4 kings coming from Persia. Who will come? There will be a 4th one who will be richer, and that one no time. And also, someone will come from the Greece, the Grecian, and will take over. And or taking over we are the 12th. And yes. It answered Hebrew verse 11. The Grecian Empire has taken over. And so I'll come back in what we have discussed already. I say in the entire book of Daniel, 5 kingdoms are being projected. 5. Not 7, not 6, 5. And 5 on mention 4 and 3 and 4 of them. 5 kingdoms on mention 4 out of the 5. On mention number 1, which was the Babylonian Empire, Nebuchadnezzar. And it was not only Nebuchadnezzar who was king. There were other kings or mentioned. But what I say, and then we come to Nebuchadnezzar, a kingdom by about the Medo Persians, and also so we bought kings view. But I couldn't able to wahano. Chapter and now or more the 3rd kingdom say about the Grecian Empire. He didn't mention Alexander the Great name, but on mentioning near maybe far. What must say how obviously up and the speed with which or the conquer we say anyhow we ne how and he didn't beche ako 4 of his generals and I see it. Yo, the 4th kingdom no or more moving about describe
Yeah.
which was the Roman Empire. Why do we know say it's the Roman Empire? But how do we know? We got to know because history tells us say after Alexander the Great kingdom kingdom of the Roman Empire. So as I said, the 5th kingdom now into a mention for no mention of 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Do a jump to the 5th, and that 5th is the kingdom of God. God as the church. It's maybe Drew, no. Yeah, Drew, where the 1st kingdom is gone. 1st kingdom, no, by chapter your friend saying 5, no.
Chapter 5.
And a 2nd kingdom, which was the Persian and the Medians, one more at time. And Daniel can't say, as at chapter 11, that kingdom will come to an end. Joe, let this be emphasized. Daniel time in the life of Daniel, Daniel ended or died or ended his book in the 2nd kingdom.
Okay. In other words, chapter 11. Chapter 11. Sabreno or Krata.
Yeah.
The 2nd kingdom, no.
Yes.
One of the kings of the 2nd kingdom.
Yes.
They captain what will happen in the 3rd kingdom.
Exactly.
That will happen. The struggle in the 3rd
kingdom. Well, me no be arguing because it's more like he's telling this man say, as for Wahine the baby, but I'm two ideas no. Give it to Omuni.
Okay.
What must say? So that's what we are seeing. So Daniel is telling us in the 3rd kingdom what is going to happen. But he himself will never be in the 3rd kingdom. But what I say, because as at the time of Daniel chose now Israel for that so on. But in instead, Israel for be free Kwasumu akko back to the land of Palestine and the land of Canaan. Ama omukoduru here and sana the 3rd kingdom na the Grecian Alexander the Great, and no then Abba. So what Daniel is giving here is a vision of what is going to happen in that kingdom. And say the king of the south, talking about the general, one of the generals Egypt, and the king of the all north, he's talking about the north and the south of the land of Israel. And we are seeing a map, north and south, and what's North
America, and North America and South America,
baby. He's talking about Israel assassin, north, which is the Assyria, and Damascus, and almost south, which is Egypt. What I say. I say there's going to be a fight. Now, Joe, I can say and no more I can't, you know, I'm going to speed up a little.
Yeah.
You know, the king of the south, no, Otia, Egypt, king of the north, Assyria, and there's going to be a fight between them for power. And you, Otuaswa, the Ebabisian say, Bako Eddie forces a lot of soldiers back war. And so you be defeating them. You defeating no ba you defeating the no winning war no oba on control no ho or the assembly and Niger assembly ade na ne baba no so na the other one e defeating no wako mobilizing no ho aside then about the fight it. And at the end of the day he won. But so that is exactly what the text is telling us. And then and I'm so no be winning no. Why is it important? It is important because it's going to affect the people who will be on the land of Canaan. Let's continue reading.
So verse I read to verse 15, no verse 16.
Yeah.
16 will say, but he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will, and none shall stand before him, and he shall stand in his glorious land, and by his hand he shall consume. Verse 17 says, he shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright one with him. Thus shall he do, and he shall give him the daughter, and he shall give him the daughter of women, corrupt her, but she shall not stand on his side, neither be for him. And when this shall he turn his face to the isles, and shall take many, but a prince for his own behalf shall cause a reproach offered by him to cease. Without his own reproach, he shall cause it to turn upon him. Then he shall turn his face towards the fourth of his own land, but he shall stumble and fall, and not be found. Verse 17, Amakan.
This is giving you what is going to happen. How your friend is saying the Assyrians, will come in to. I keep saying Assyria, but I mean Syria. But after then, you can Syria for will rise up, come and fight them, come and fight the Egyptians. There will be that defeat. They will go back, prepare, come again, come and fight. So the time of Babylon said, after own to me and fight it or because or support from the Romans. That's all the history fact is telling us. They will get support from the Romans, and because of that, they will have to return to their land because the Romans will not allow them to fight the Egyptians any longer. In their return, in fact, okay, Israel, the guy sent about 150 elephants. That time, the elephant in the cocoon, and yet now, they armor cars, so they be elephants.
Also,
drones, and the cocoon. What I say, and all these things happen, and at the end of the day, just like say, America cocoon, now UK are support to but it's going to turn. They are going to realize Nankofo cry support to and say Angasa Crano. You are what they say. Na come and ever support to by one they say so we can take over. It's the last week and make can was it. Yeah, can't see that Joe.
So verse 20, I say, then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of tax in the glory of the kingdom. But within few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. In his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceable and obtain a kingdom by flatteries, and with the arm of flat shall they be overthrown from before him, and he
Yo,
shall be king.
this is talking about Antiochus. No, no, Yebenya Antiochus the first, the second, and the third. Yebenya kings ahodo a omo free Syria no apija. Now, omo defeat ahodo ni nyina no, they were not giving up. So one time be what one of them realized and says, "Yeah, kasi ya konkrofo no omo akoko a already they have defeated us omo kwi soldiers bebree." So what you going to tell them? They say, "Oh, ya base no omo ebeye apam. You're not going to fight them." Oh, ne ama omo kwan omo enter. They will come to Egypt and come and talk as if say, "Oh, they are in for peace." Or Kenyan talk one omo babe because they say they muno omo be settle down. It was omo omo discussing the peace treaty, you know, for lack of better, you know, omo this, you know, na ne nkrofo na mwachire so air fight.
Fight.
Eti Egyptians na ni ba omo so no na omo akonka omo kro no. But they were like he said, they couldn't conquer the entire of Egypt. Wabunya a southern part in United. That is when the Romans are going to come in. In fact, there's going to be a point and they shall seize the reproach that is offered by him, you know. And that has to do with the offer the Romans will offer to him. Say, Master, either so be really or side Hong Kong, no Egypt for no. Now, what can free the Mediterranean Sea? And I said, only a answer. So he had no choice than to take it. Also, a quack or dinner home, I'm saying, so the Roman soldier pulled a knife and made a circle around him, said, Master, one taking decision in now. Uncle. By the time we free can no one taking a decision. And Joe, he was forced to stop coming for the war and defeating the entire of Egypt. And none of them before no till they see it. So
that is Daniel 11, verse 22 or say, and with the arms of a flood they shall be overthrown from before him, and shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. And after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall become strong with small people. He shall enter peaceably, even upon the fattest place of the province, and he shall do that which his father has not done, nor his father's father. He shall scatter among the prey and spoil and riches. Yea, he shall forecast his device against the stronghold, even for a time, and he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army, and the king of the south shall be stirred up to a battle with a very great mighty army, and he shall not stand, for they shall forecast the device against him. Yea, they shall feed of the portion of the meat, shall destroy him, and his army shall overthrow, and many shall fall down slain. And both these kings' hearts shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper, for yet the end shall be at the time appointed. Then shall he return to his land with great riches. His heart shall be against the holy covenant, and he shall do exploits and return to his own land. At the moment,
Obeko kono, ebe defeating or the abufu beba. I mean, okume bring one pet. But the conclusion part and say, or the buffo Eboka kwasue Israel man no so say yaka ama wako offer even the friend of swine aye preku ewo omo altar so nti pork na ode beko akọ offer ewo omo altar so no de abufo beba ebe create the Maccabees war and all that. These are things you can even read of. The book of Maccabees, the second book of Maccabees no. And the first and second no so be person usua sa na na titiri obehunu ewo the first Maccabees chapter 1 the verse 16 to 19 no. These kings amontokwa any the besie wo nyina no. We will see that. Though yanko yenim na yenhwe the verse 30 no.
Mamen kaya 27 was saying, and both these kings' hearts shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, and shall not prosper. For yet the end shall be at the time appointed, and then shall he return to his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant, and he shall do exploits and return to his own land. So verse 28 in Kasa about Maccabees, no? And Antiochus Epiphanes.
Yes, the madman.
The mad, okay. So verse 30, verse 29, no? And at the time he shall return and come towards the south, but it shall not be as the former or the latter, for the ships of Shittim shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved and return and have indignation against the holy covenant. So he shall do, even shall he return and have intelligence with them for the sake of the holy covenant. And the arm shall stand on his path, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of the strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and shall place abomination that maketh desolation.
It is a mechano after so no papa wu na fe what take you over now more air corner what take you over now all ruling. What is going to happen? And it's a Obed try say he will conquer Egypt, no ruling the world. But in his quest, and then the Romans came in, stopped him, and then he has to return home. In his return, Anna Obefa, the land of the promise, and the covenant people, then don't say, Womkobo tutu or the Abufu catch on Masa Mokrano, Motempo, and we will enter there. Say Gentiles and say someone enter, we will enter. We will not just enter, we will offer swine on the altar. And all this happened and the Kriti and Tokwa, Emma, what we call the Maccabees War. Now, what is important is say, son, why are we interested in even hitting on the reading and linking it to the historical fact? The entire important is a manphobia for certain way, and more accurate or more dear, ABC UN. Others, ABC North Korea and America and there's going to be a war per se. But here they all can though clear that history, is in support of what Daniel is saying, which means it is not the future and I deal with BBC. It has already happened. Then I'm a person may emphasize it. That all these things have already happened. 90 to us, Joe.
Verse 32 no say, and shall do wickedly against the covenant, shall he corrupt flatteries, but the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits, and they that understand among the people shall instruct many, yet they shall fall by the sword.
They will go and bow to Antiochus Epiphanes. Israel,
Yeah.
question. Sir, ade we na all can. Is it at that moment, and that's a future? It's future because Daniel Crawford now the people of the covenant now so move bow no. As at the time of Daniel, they were still in captivity.
Mm-hmm.
What do I say? After they have returned from captivity, and almost so people should note it. Now again, though Shadiabi, they or say there's going to be people bowing to the oppressor. So there's going to be a division among the children of Israel. And I Jew for no. Joe, more like they will bow to the Antiochus. And the sorry say the people who know their God. They will rise and say no way.
Opposing.
They will oppose it. You thank for no. Papa, your friend Maccabees in Nebuchadnezzar. I said they are going to stand up, fight, and then at the end of the day, they are going to be victorious. That is what we are seeing in the text, So I'm going to read this one, and then you be.
Yeah, my mentor reading this so. But before I met reading this, my main kind of was said. We are streaming on Facebook, we are streaming on YouTube. But I said I call Maccabees, Maybe I don't quite remember what is Maccabees. I have here an old Bible I've told and we New English Bible. So New English Bible.
Yeah.
The New English Bible it has that Maccabees. So if you can see my camera, you can see that.
Yeah, who do know, but you who be no. Yeah,
you can see Maccabees. I think it's clear now. You see where First Maccabees chapter 11 and chapter 12, like that. So it's their history. They are not things that are not accessible.
The Maccabees books, first and second, Joe will search it internet crowd with soft copy, and use Roman for the Catholic Bible, and also who
yeah, we a Catholic Bible with those books.
So you can read some of these things, but they are not inspired. Those two books, First and Second Maccabees, and the other books are Catholic for added to the scriptures. So they were not inspired and they are not accepted as scripture. Now, Papa, be a friend Josephus, and also Emma history about Sanemawi. Josephus was not giving history about what Daniel said. Or no, they see war no adeno, and he was just writing about it. And surprisingly, any more training fall in line with what Daniel talked about. One more person more about some of these things. Joe, go into the writings of Josephus. Now, say Josephus mentioned it. Maccabees for so more cancer. Joe, say Sanema I documented. It has been written down. Say then it's kind of sad. Say in the sorry no maka say say be beba Armageddon war. Ama a kumbisi na Yesu baba the transasi su bio now be 1,000 years into Sanema Joe one link it Emma Sadi ya. What the copy be before for link and Kabetu or Sekakra. But I hide it. There are historical facts that makes whatever Mickey about passageway false and invalid. Joe.
Okay, so my mentor Staka. Verse 33 say, and they shall understand among the people. And they that understand among the people shall instruct many. Yet they shall fall by the sword, and by flame, by captivity, and by sport many days. Now When they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help, but many shall cleave to them with flatteries, and some of them of understanding shall fall, to try them, and to purge, and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself, and magnify himself about every god, and shall speak of the marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. But in his estate shall he honor the God of forces, and the God of whom his fathers knew not shall honor with gold, silver, and with precious stones and pleasant things. Thus shall he do in the most stronghold with the strange gods, whom he shall acknowledge in increase with the glory, and he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land of gain. And at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots and with horsemen, and with many ships. And he shall enter into the countries, and shall overflow and pass over. And he shall enter also into the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown. But these people shall escape out of his hand, even Edom and Moab, and the chief of the Ammons. And he shall stretch forth his hand and upon the countries, and the hand of Egypt shall not escape. And he shall have power over the treasures of gold and silver, and all the precious things of Egypt, and Libyans and Ethiopians shall be at his steps. But the tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy and utterly make away many. And he shall plant the tabernacle of his palace between the seas of the glorious holy mountain, yet shall come to his end, and none shall help him. I don't know close to the entire chapter in that regard.
At the end of the day, Daniel is telling this needy king, he say, the kingdom never be take you over from you, no, and I'm gonna take you over. We are, I'm gonna prosper, all right, but they will finally be disjointed. They are going to fight, and at the end of the day, and you won't kingdom never fall. That's the point. The Persia, Babylonia for falling, the Persia for falling. Sa kingdom now no baby take you over from the Persia no. I hear the he go to no. Or no so be falling or falling. The generals no so almost be take you over no. Almost descendant there the omu be falling. So until kusina obey no ho so okuno aye at the end of the day he will still fall. So that's the picture we see in Daniel chapter 11. So the entire 11 is more like geared toward the fact that there's going to be an end of the Grecian Empire.
And how they will fall, and their civil war between the kings and their struggle for power.
Yes. And these are historical facts. Now, Joe, say, how did Daniel, how was he able to see it and write about them?
Yeah.
What I say, because the angel told him. What I say, and it tells us that God is all knowing. God knows what will happen in the future. And sometimes they'll say in our worst and lowest part of our lives, say, Nyami enim the air coso.
And I'm fear.
The children of Israel, Akodim Kwasumu, So all these people are going to go through their lives, and yet at the end of the day, they are going to be standing and to bring the Christ. That's the point Daniel is telling them. If you read verse 12, the way is starting on chapter 12 now.
I mean, that they can be media two musa, chapter 12 no. About chapter 12, verse 1 no. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which stand for the children of thy people, and he shall be a time, then there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was seen. There was a nation even among at the same time, and at that time thy people shall be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book, and many of them shall sleep in the dust of the earth. Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, some to the shame, and some to everlasting contempt.
Joe, Daniel is switching. In fact, I must also say in the verse in chapter 11, no, Joe, Daniel gives us a picture of how the Romans will also come in and will also fall, right? And at chapter 12, no, in fact, that's why a lot of people think that chapter 12 comes after chapter 11, no, before chapter 11. No. Because in chapter 12, no, Daniel jumped all the way to the end of time. What I say? Daniel jumps all the way to the end of time and tells us that the Nyankopon Krofo are still going to stand, and there will be judgment at the end of time. Though a lot of commentators believe, we say, then Daniel discussion at chapter 11 included what is going to happen to the Romans. What do I say? So the picture that is painted in chapter 11 gives an indication, say, then the Romans are included in the writings of Daniel when it comes to chapter 11. And this is where they kind of fix it. The so ama verse 38, you know. Verse 38, you know, it seems that this Daniel is switching from switching from Grecians, you know, to the Romans. Verse 38 and 39. No, can be on there.
I said, but in this estate shall he be honored, shall he honor the God of forces, and the God whom his father knew not shall be honored with gold and silver and with precious stones and pleasant things. That shall he do in the most stronghold with a strong God, whom he has acknowledged, and increase his glory, and he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain.
You know, Yanko, verse 40 and 41. No, who say it's more like, okay, the Romans are now taking over. They are going to be strong. They're going to rule the whole world. They're going to divide it and give portions to people. When Julius Caesar we Pompey fight, and at the end of the day, what happened to the land of Israel? It was divided and given to Herod and then the Nasephon. That is what some commentators believe. Say no, Daniel, the Roman Empire, no, and once I'm share. Which is verse 40, no, but
right, verse 40, no. I say, and at that time of the So, and at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come again like a whirlwind, and with chariots, and with horsemen, and with many sheep. And he shall enter into the countries, and shall overflow and pass over. He shall enter also the glorious land, and many countries shall he overthrow. But these shall escape out of his hand, even Edom and Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon.
What it believed, they said the Romans became so strong, say they conquered almost all nations. That's what some people believe. And so they conquered all nations, and they kind of allow Moab ne sa Ammon for no they allow them, but they didn't have some kind of governance on them. It was Pontius Pilate was on the Jews rather. Yeah, said there was any kind of governor be on a year sa Edom for no also. But Israel you said the governor. So it seems like say Daniel is switching and talking about a year the Romans time. Anyhow, they will rule over the world, but they will allow some of the nations to rule over themselves, which is a fact. So history actually said the Roman Empire, no, you saw what is actually Pax Romana.
Yeah, Pax Romana, the Roman peace.
The Roman peace. And it is believed, say, what the Romans wanted to do, and they say, allow Obiaman into the krum. Unlike the any Babylon, no. Yeah, allow Obiaman into the krum. In fact, these four will even give people to go back to their homes under Cyrus. So what can about the Cyrus cylinder?
Yeah.
That is the decree of Cyrus make here. But the Romans in the Bible, this is what they did. They realized, say, and for so many, was to say, but so will be a man of aqua, Italy. You come why and so me war for what? You will be entering the crew. No muncha taxes my. What I say?
Yeah.
That is what the Romans did, and it helped them. But they have to make sure, say, there is peace, because if on my be better on my beer, then on my chrono, a man me no more chrono, there will not be a friend saying taxes coming. If there's civil war, there will not be taxes coming. It's any yaman crofo day. Omunta more group. Here taxes. Am I say uya be a share the book of Acts. You will see these things there. So okay, yeah. Paul, Echo, Ephesus, no. Na oko 2, akalabia, ababa abia no okase, we yankopon or say one more
Acts 16.
Acts 16.
Philippians 16.
Okay, Philip, the same thing. You see that situation, I'm say Paul, we're turning the world upside down. In other words, akwa we de entokwa bebaha, and ya careful. Na say ye baha no more. Then the Romans will send soldiers, because they will say then we will bring soldiers to come and take care. We will bring a governor. That is what they were preventing, because the Romans had that policy called the Pax Romana, Roman peace. Said there should be peace in the whole world, so that there wouldn't be a need for them to send soldiers around and pay them. But just so you mistake, na nation, say mono there be amukuno mus and soldiers about the pata. Now making sure say peace reign. They are going to tax you more, so that you pay the soldiers.
Oh, okay.
That's what the Romans did. So share Romans, a style. Indeed, no Yankopon use to send the gospel after say Jesus Bebano. because Rome for no more here, one more Italy. But Joe, and I'm saying for the taxes, gold and silver, ebro muntino. Omo yi akwan atoto ekrobia mu, so that it is believed that all road leads to where?
Rome.
Rome. So that is awesome now. All roads leads to Rome. It omo yi akwan ahodo a enema obia no ofa ekwan bia befa so bia highway bia no ekwa kosi Rome. And Joe, say unya daje na kenkan New Testament na you see say osoma for Paul actual letter no oka me wa ha say me free amekwa ha. And all because the Romans have made it possible for rules, for language. They did not destroy Alexander the Great. They allowed people to speak the Greek because it was a language that almost everybody was speaking in the whole world. These are things that Ebema Majedi say, yes, Daniel is talking about how the Romans will come in. Yo, what to also kakra? Verse 42 no.
Verse 42 no saying, and he shall stretch forth his hand and upon the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape.
It shall be the land of Egypt, you know. They were friends to these Romans. So what can I catch you say? Come on, a Syria for no hide, you know. They will go and hide them and get them to come and support them. But when they on for crown, they will not escape their hands. It is true, say the Romans took over, and I'm tempted to believe, say, yeah, Daniel came. Yes, it was about the Romans because because at the time when Antiochus was, the enemy said the Romans did not allow Antiochus Epiphanes and his team to conquer Egypt.
Yeah,
it is a Seleucus say Antiochus Epiphanes as for no, and for no. One man take Egypt. One man a young crop for because Egypt shall not escape.
Okay.
What's my point now? Making us say,
yeah,
we're talking about another kingdom, and that is the Romans.
Yes, that is the Romans. They can't see it, but before that was it is here Brenico, but I'll read. Okay. I'll come back and read the entire the remaining part of a few verses now. We are done. We are live. We are streaming on Straight Talk. We are on YouTube. Straight Talk on YouTube. And also we are streaming on Facebook. Someone like it, opinion, one like it. And Oko YouTube is now searching Charity Weber. And topic I discussed the book of Daniel and Vision. We are on the 27th episode, Daniel chapter 11. And then kwata the baby. The dinner baby na yetimi ehun se na ebesi yi afiri ho na yetimi akoso. Ma men kai kakra ma say chapter
43 no. Chapter 11 into the okay.
43 no say, but he shall have power over the treasure of gold and of silver and of all the precious things of Egypt and the Liberians and the Ethiopians shall be at his step.
Okay. In 3 great nations are Antiochus Epiphanes. Because all the Antiochus Epiphanes because Antiochus Epiphanes could not overcome Egypt.
Okay.
They could not take Libya. Libya some no count. They could not take Ethiopia. So in all their fights, there's no way say in history, you didn't say they took over the Egyptian land. They were able to deceive them and took half of Egypt. But later on, they conquered them. It's any one they say take it over. You see, when you are reading the scriptures, it didn't confirm the Bible told that I confusing. Yes. The Bible is not going to tell you, say, oh, I'm taking the people away into me, into a coin, into a before by. Now, Romans take over. You need to ask yourself questions. Say, how is it that at one breath this guy was defeated and couldn't take over Egypt? But at this point, he's talking about another person. Verse 43 into the third kind. But he shall have power over
the treasures.
Why he shall have power? No? We're talking about the Romans, the Romans that will come in and conquer Egypt, conquer Ethiopia, conquer Libya. In fact, why bring the two? No, just say the Carthaginians,
Yeah.
We must try to fight the Romans, in Kusiaga. At the end of the day, the Romans will still rule. And if the Romans are ruling, that means that we have only 4 kingdoms that will be on earth. Just like Nebuchadnezzar saw, just like Daniel also saw in Daniel chapter. So verse 44, they say, but tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy, and utterly to make away many. Eti Rome for no. Wow, be sorry I could tell more. Omo ba no ma destroy mu hina. Say, in fact, they will finally come and destroy the children of Israel. Verse 45. And he shall plant the tabernacle of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy land, holy mountain. Yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. So one was someone talking about how Rome, every man also, Rome, every Danny, every being a government to even being a religious group, they are taking over the whole world. They will take the glorious mountain. Nyankopon fi number 5. Who will do the book of Revelation? I bet you the churches are name away. No, I can't tell how to me it be free a year the Roman government acquire the Roman church. No, what was it? Yes, one verse. Oh, and so the word see can no. One I want you say ABC or say he is going to plant the tabernacle of his palace between the seas in the glory land. What I say? Who be do Revelation or catch up say na aboa na owo epunu mu no obey den or the two me ma be owasa. So as I say 80, when we get to the book of Revelation, we are going to look at how all these things are going to happen. Clearly, the text is telling us something that we will not see the picture very well, but the book of Revelation will pick this and amplify it for us to see. Joe, when you step into chapter 12, what is going to happen is that in chapter 12, Daniel is going to tell us after say Romans for the omutumi ama a year the war as assessor no na asoro no be say okay Daniel Daniel maeti say they shall now miss na brabo be em fa woni said there obi be si afa asoro no asay no nyina no at the end of time no Joe, God church is going to stand. The Romans are going to be destroyed, and God's church will stand. It's the mechanic on say, I mean, sure you don't want us to go into chapter.
No, I don't want us to go. I think let's end here and continue next time. Great chapters of the book of Daniel, particularly also dwelling more on some of few things but it has been a exciting study of the book of Daniel chapter 11. Very insightful. some of them are coupled with historical facts. As or say one more day na working can back for some send the baby to me a bow. Na Yankopon asem entie no wetimi appreciate me fully. When the Bashada Kasi say and Obeka Mensa na yedusu Daniel chapter 11. We didn't baby yet, but it left is still chapter 12. But we will next week this year we will talk about some other things and look at Daniel chapter 12 and might even do another one trying to look at certain things to tie in clearly. Now here with the book of Daniel no more na yɛtumi akyerɛkyerɛ afoforɔ nso Yesu Kristo n'asɛmpa no.
You say, Mama, me quite a curve na me fa we encounter say what trip that ya painting so far now. Catch you say the whole book of Daniel is giving you an idea of how Onyankopɔn ma na ɔmakɔdi nsɛnsɛmɛ ɛwɔ Babylon, how they are going to come back. And nneɛma ebesi ansa na ɔmo aba. Na ɔmo bɛwi nneɛma ɛbɛkɔ so. What I say? Daniel will be talking about the children of Israel and nneɛma Nebuchadnezzar mo ne how ɔmo gya ɔmo no. But we through chapter 10 no bana no a shift focus no. From was shifted free Israel for no. Na fe ɔhwɛ ewiase nyinaa nneɛma ɛbɛkɔ so ansa na Onyankopɔn ahini na yɛ den. But no, they can make it emphasis actually and say Israel for no ombesa komochi. In fact, okay, chapter 9 no obompaye tell Onyankopon say omo nsa yere. But fast forward. So Israel for sa komochi no mko wa dem kwa na de bebi. Daniel is telling us say, oh, we must go back and name a basis ni. Now at the end of time no Onyankopɔn will still stand because the Romans will come in at the end of time. In fact, all kind history will tell you say Bombay, Papa a friend Pompey will go to the land of Israel. He will do all kind of things and rule against the children of Israel. In fact, in AD 70, finally Israel and he no you better destroy no crebe ku Israel for you na if you on man your man be tell you your friend saying
1900s
40 to 47 after the World War II no Israel for more kwan ma fe omenya nation UN and more nations question is if free AD 70 you destroy no up to a year 1944 we do no more way. Now a passage I want us to read and sign upon. Chapter 31 na ya kind of. Jeremiah 31. Can I say Jeremiah and a shame come say Israel for Beko and Kwasumu for 70 years on Mesaba. Jeremiah ya sabe country say do omufrim Kwasumu background Onyankopon pam apamfo for verse 31. Jeremiah 31 verse 31. Upon apamfo for na apamfo for New Testament sha say Israel for no your mind bio. It even though Israel for UN created the opportunity for them to be back to their land now. They are not recognized as God's people. And the Bible says it.
Jeremiah 31.
Verse 34 to 36. No?
Verse 34 is here. And they shall teach no more every man in his neighbor, and every man in his brother, saying, Do the Lord. For they shall know me from the least of them unto the greatest, says the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sins no more.
We are comment, no.
Yes. That says the Lord, which giving the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon, and the stars of the light by night, which divided the sea when the wave thereof roll. The Lord of hosts is his name. If
Yeah.
this whose ordinance
Now, Jawansa. Jeremiah say, Unyami oye sa nema we onu ma ensoro ma hyren. Onu na ma ewia ebo. Sa unyami no onu na enu pumu twi no sa na oka no. Onu epumu na ma no bo na so ochen. Eti sa unyami no oye sa de we nyina no. O kan kire ye nese. If all these ordinances or kan kire se sa nema nyina no apambada no mu nema waka se besie ni nyina tie Israel for no konkwaso mu 70 years no mo back no mbeye ebeto aso no mo som ni bibia na omo covenant no yenya wo Yesu na ba wie ya afeti. Then what?
Then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
The seed of Israel minor will cease from being a house, from being a nation, from being God's people, special people, no, forever. 86 AD 70, no, they have not been God's people. They were scattered. Unyangopoma, a year Titus, and in the army, Ebaho, but destroyed them. Jerusalem was destroyed. The temple was destroyed. Nipa dwane. Yo, saa nneɛma wei na na ɔka kyerɛ sɛ Onyankopɔn ahyɛ nkɔm ato ɔsɛ sɛ Israel man no sɛ New Testament nyaba Yesu ni nyaba na ɔbɛyɛ deɛ ɛsɛ ɔyɛ kɔ a Israel will cease from being a nation before him. Yo, in chapter 9 no sɛ ɔbɛkae a Daniel ka kyerɛ yɛ sɛ there's going to be time and 70 weeks now. You discuss it, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, say be kun ajenkwa no. You kunu we are after 3.5 years on the be see. 3.5 now no kana was talking about the half of Yesu ewu awie no. You be see on it. And on the name say AD 70. Titus and the soldiers were destroy Israel. And Israel no, and now see a destroy Muntino. They from that time no did not remain God's people ever again. It is a day obi to one or catch us say Onyankopon sama Israel for nyina kɔ ɔmo asase so Palestine na no me kan asase me kyerɛ say so obekaya during I don't know it's a COVID time or one of them and Trump before COVID no Trump announced it said the children of Israel no any or no Trump now go agreement they are moving their embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Emma Opinion Duncan Williams ever can say Christians should watch out. Na Yesu ba abdi na hinya besi Jerusalem. Yo, let it be clear to everybody watching today. Say Jeremiah say New Testament in the Israel will cease from being a nation before God forever. Jeremiah 31 verse 36. And you know, there's nothing like Israel for coming to become a nation again. There's nothing like a war coming. The next thing I hear anymore is for Jesus to return. Now, none Jesus will return now. Also, for Paul can't say, "Oh, my trans as you so." In 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, the verse 13 to 18, or say, "We shall fly and meet him in the air, and so shall it be forever." And there's no way say Jesus the trans as you so. Abedihine. If you don't say about establishing the kingdom, no as I say so. Well, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, the verse 24, and say, Oba, he is coming to lift up the kingdom and deliver it to the Father. It's a idea the church of Bible shall say so, and he need you. And I hope say, Mr. Kakra make out today, but I thought it's important to open up for people to see, say, the children of Israel were going to end as a nation. It will be a junior, though he has to be in the church in order to be saved. He can just go around and say, no. Temple no way, I'll go back for there, no. Or shout for there, and a Sabbath and a animal, no, you can't do it. You need to be in the church in order to be saved. And that is what God is saying. He said, there's going to be a time that Jesus will descend and come and take the kingdom. The Roman Empire is going to fall and be handed over to the Roman Church in AD 476. I should think so. AD 476. The Roman Empire collapsed. Interestingly, on said, Mamika Namin from Anusi. On Babylon, Yeku Belshazzar in Daniel chapter 5. And I hear baby. And I will say, Medopesha Hiniano. The she goat, or say, also the lamb, none or other baby, in Daniel chapter 9. And he goat, the lamb no ewi, and he go to take you over.
Yeah.
It says, he go to no answer obebu. Abebena Edika Nebebu Ama Abeben 4 which is the 4 James I discuss almost so Ebebe. But the Roman Empire no there. Daniel can say almost the better mama kingdom no be or see they will hand over. No, they will hand over. That is something I want people to note. Verse 45 no?
I think that to not to bother man, because the more you throw those things in, we'll have to just get a time. Chapter 12, like they say, before we draw chapter 12, we'll draw more on these things.
Okay.
And I think we'll draw a bit like
I hope I say
how do this? Yes.
So I mean that would be great. That would be great.
Sure. So yes. As Dan commercial Bashadrak say Oji Bena, and then only etina sina yesuande on the book of Daniel chapter 11. As Dan Koma won't so Oji Bre now so here on charity. Don't subscribe to the channel now. Money subscribe. Just subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification bell. Send a bell call live out meet me on Facebook. You just like the page and if follow your or charity via you for your in your call live also beat me and now so it's my journey. You have so many interesting programs that are lining up from Sunday to Saturday. Then you I don't really understand it. You say schedule, Mediane Jonathan, Mensa Bonsu. Until then, keep your Bibles open and let's study the word of God. Macro Bibia. Bye bye.